Everyone, and welcome to Team Invasion's Two Chicks, One Throne after show. We are talking Game of Thrones, the final episode of season 6. We are so excited because we want to talk about this crazy episode. I am Kaori, and joining me,
and Campia.
John Campia.
Yes,
the throne.
That's wrong. I got two Campias.
They were laughing because of the mic placement.
Look, I was trying to not make that obvious, but
I didn't bring it up. They brought it up.
Might as well point it out. That's fine. So, anyways,
get that out of the way right now.
I just want to point out this is to scale.
Okay. We're live. Did you know that?
We're live. Hi guys.
Well, guys, speaking of to scale, and I'm not even making any more sense. Okay, well, we're going to talk about Game of Thrones, the final episode. We are so excited, and we are going to talk about our positives because there's so many, and if there's things that didn't work for us, we're going to eventually talk about those things as well afterwards. So let's start with John. John, what are some of the positives that you...
This is the single... I wrote this on my social media last night, and it's true. This is the single best season finale there has ever been on television history. It's not my favorite. Game of Thrones is not my favorite show of all time by a long shot. I haven't even been totally thrilled with this season as a whole. Like I've liked this season, but this has not been the strongest season to me. Mm-hmm. But these last two episodes, Battle of the Bastards or Bastard versus Bastard, whichever.
Battle of the Bastards.
Battle of the Bastards.
And, both of sounds right.
And the Winds of Winter, especially Winds of Winter. This has been insane. I have nothing negative to say about this episode. This episode, is television perfection. It was unbelievable, going everything from, the beginning of it, because Anna and I were watching it last night, and it's like, okay, well, we know Cersei's not just going to turn herself over. Is she going to be taking off? Is Tommen actually in on it with Marjorie? And they're about to pull the wool over the High Sparrow's eyes. And then when they went into the catacombs, and you saw the wildfire down there, I turned and said, they're going Godfather with this. They're totally going Godfather with this. And I don't know if Anne understood the reference at the time.
I got it.
But it's like Cersei is about to settle all family accounts with the Corleones. I mean, that's what's totally, and we said, she's going to kill them all. She's going to kill them all. And sure enough, she killed them all. That was awesome. Then, of course, you get the whole Jon, I think the best maybe scene in Game of Thrones history was the To the King of the North scene. That whole scene, which also continued that whole Godfather thing, because it was very much like the Michael Corleone kissing of the ring scene when they were all swearing allegiance to Jon Snow and Lady Marmont.
Yeah.
I mean, that girl can have her own spin-off series. That girl can totally have her own spin-off series. That whole scene was magnificent. Yeah. It was just, I can verbally give verbal diarrhea here for the next 45 minutes. This episode was so amazing and so fantastic. I can't believe it. I got nothing negative to say.
I mean, every scene from scene to scene was just really oh my gosh, can't believe that. I like how they started the episode with 25 minutes worth of Cersei and what she's up to.
And the music was so good. And the editing was so good. And
beautiful.
They just made it so perfect, even down to when the fire blew up and the guy's eyes went, you can see his eyes.
When the High Sparrow evaporated.
Yes.
Oh my God, that was so awesome.
It was haunting. It was really haunting and very well done, very elegantly done, I would say, for such a powerful moment in Cersei's, existence in the show. It's like she finally went mad queen on us, and they did it so beautifully in the way that they depicted it with the music and the way they shot it, like you guys said.
Yeah, and for a while we thought that Cersei, was losing her touch because she's always had the upper hand in the past.
Lately, she's been a victim.
And but no, she fired back.
Oh yeah,
even willing to lose her son because she did not look that surprised when Tommen.
Well, no, Anne mentioned that too to me, and I feel differently because she sent the Mountain to make sure that he was safe. She's to keep him from going to the Citadel for that. I don't think she saw him killing himself. I don't think she saw that coming. But what I think what happened was once he did, remember now, the only anchor to her humanity that she has had through this entire series, the one scrap of goodness in Cersei has been She loves her children and will do anything for her children. And I still believe if she thought she had to go and be executed by the High Sparrow, and that would make sure her son would still be alive, she would have gone and been executed by the High. I think if it meant protecting her son, but she then went down to the catacombs to look at his body. Remember, at that point, all of her kids are now dead. Her connection to her anchor to her humanity is now gone.
Yeah.
And now it's like, I don't give a fuck. You know, it was like and I think now she's broken. I mean, she's always been a mess. She's always been broken and evil and conniving and all that kind of stuff. But now without her kids, we are about to see Cersei as like, I said on another episode that the Night King is going to ultimately be the Thanos to this universe. It might be the Night King and Cersei, because now there's nothing left for her holding her back. I mean, it's terrifying.
I don't even think she truly loves Jaime. When she saw Jaime at the end of the episode, and he was shocked that this situation has come
she's
to
broken.
this.
I'm telling you, she's totally busted.
Yeah, man, I'm the queen now.
No, I totally agree. And then I brought it up to you. I think it's asking whether we think at the end of the series, when it's done, if Cersei will die, if she does die, and if it's going to be at the hands of Jaime Lannister.
Popular opinion right now.
Well, he looks really disappointed.
I don't think so. I don't think, like, I understand the opinion, and there are a lot of people out there who kind of have that opinion, but just remember last episode when he's talking to the Frey, his prisoner, he had that, and he's like, I think he might even said, like, fuck the world, fuck the people, I don't care, like, to hell with them all. Like, all he cares about, he says, all I care about is Cersei. And to find out she did something bad, well, don't forget that before he left, he was like preaching to her, we're going to get everybody who's against us is going to get theirs. Yeah. Like, he was all that kind of stuff. So I think it was troubling for him to see the mass destruction she caused. But at the same time, I don't think he's going to be, I think he's overwhelmed by it, but you can make an argument that he instigated this, because he was whispering in your ears, they're all going to get what's coming to them and blah, blah, blah. And now it's done. And I don't think he's going to kill Cersei.
I think that if he does think it's to kill her is for the better of humanity, he might, because he is the Kingslayer for that reason as well. You know, so also she must do something that really hurts his feelings, and he gets butthurt.
Like for him to kill her, him to kill her, she's going to have to do more. I think Cersei will have to do more. Something, she's going to have to become the next Ramsay and do something like killing Brienne. That might push him over the edge. If that happens, I just don't think what has happened so far is enough to turn Jaime against her yet.
Or maybe even denying her, like how Daenerys denied Davros in this. Is it Davros?
No,
Davos. Dario
in this episode.
Thinking about Jon Snow.
I mean, it might even just take Cersei saying, I don't want to be with you anymore. And that's cutting the ties with Jaime. But I think something like you said, like something that happens to Brienne could impact it very much.
And sad, because Cersei does not care about Jaime that much. But I do think it's really cool that she got her shame opinion.
Yes.
Look, I said this on my social media the other day.
Or
confess.
Oh, yeah.
I said on social media last night, I said, is it bad that there was a small part of me cheering for Cersei in this? It's like, yeah, you get those. And then she's sitting on the throne at the end. It's like, oh, wait a minute. No, she probably needs to die. But I was cheering for her for a bit of that episode, especially with the nun.
And she looked amazing in that outfit.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. She looked regal. She looked like a Romulan for anybody who watches Star Trek. She looked like badass Romulan. That's what she looked like.
I mean, but in addition to us losing High Sparrow, I do want to highlight we lost one of my favorite characters, Marjorie. Tyrell. I've grown to love her, and even in this episode it proved that she always knew what Cersei was up to. Even in this exact episode where she dies, she knew. She was the only one that knew what was going down.
At least we got the grandma still.
Yeah.
Yes, and she's gonna be miserable to contend with.
Oh my gosh, and talk about a team. That's so cool. The last scene with all the ships going towards, now Westeros. And that's a team.
Now she's got Dorne on her side now. The Tyrells. I mean,
it's Rocky.
It's left me
Greyjoy.
to ask who is going to align with the Lannisters now. Who is left to align with the Lannisters now? So I mean, it's It's because, I mean, you had Jon and his faction, right? So you got Jon with the Knights of the Vale and the Wildlings, so who's left for the Tyrells? This is going to be interesting.
It will be, because I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the supernatural hasn't really hit the Lannisters yet. So I was going to say, oh, maybe there's some sort of alliance with the supernatural world.
Like Daenerys hasn't had to cope or really come face to face or even deal with at all the actual real looming threat. Jon Snow's the only one who really has a grip on what the real battle is, and that's the Night King and the coming of the White Walkers. And at some point, like, I have a feeling Jon might get a hold of her, and that might delay her conquest of Westeros. I think he might steer her away from trying to conquest of Westeros, but that's a big guess. I have no idea how that's going to happen or what order it's going to happen in.
And I mean, I'm speaking for us because I haven't talked to you guys about this, but the scene with Tyrion and Dany.
Well, maybe other than the To the King of the North scene, probably my next favorite scene in the episode.
A solid scene, and it was just emotional.
Yeah.
She gave him the pin to be king.
The hand of the queen.
Oh my goodness!
And there's an affection there that was showed without them having to verbally say it between Tyrion and Daenerys, and you can kind of see it as he's giving her advice on, you know, her having to ditch Dario, and potentially having to marry somebody to get power. But you could see the look in Tyrion's eyes, and I think I said that to you. Yeah. I think he actually truly has fallen in love with her.
You think so?
Yeah.
I think every man in Westeros falls in love with her. I mean, but there's something he said that was so amazing, because remember, Tyrion his whole life has been surrounded by regal authority, and it's all let him down, whether it's been his father, the Mad King. Robert had nobility, but he wasn't that great of a king. And then Joffrey was king, and then his son was king. And then he's traveled the world, and every leader, everything has just been a wash, right? And so he gives a speech. I don't believe in anything or anybody. But what has happened in this past year? He's seen Daenerys sacrifice. He's seen her be brave and courageous, fighting for people who have nobody fighting for them. And he believes in her. For the first time, he's come face to face with somebody that he believes in. He was the Hand of the King before, but I've never once believed anybody in the Game of Thrones, maybe not even Ned, that there's been anybody in Game of Thrones that Tyrion would legit follow. He would follow Daenerys. And that they convinced me of that through this season. And that's what made that scene so powerful for me, when he was talking to her. And he's just like, I don't believe in anything, but I believe in you. It was amazing. Just an amazing scene.
I love that that's also reciprocated, because all his life he's been kind of not believed in because he's small or whatever. Yep. Even when he was Hand of the King, it was because it was kind of like punishment in some weird way. But Dany really believes in him too. So it's just a beautiful scene there. What'd you guys think of Arya Stark?
Awesome. Okay, look, I know there were a lot of people who wanted to see Lord Frey have a military battle with people then busting into his audience room there and killing him on his throne and all that kind of stuff. And I get that totally. But I found the death of the Frey family quietly in an empty room, her and Arya, devastatingly satisfying. I found it so, when he lifted up the top of the pie and saw the toe,
so gross.
So gross, but I freaking loved it. I was like, oh my God, she's literally feeding him his heirs before she kills him.
As soon as that scene started and Frey started talking all the smack to Jaime, I'm like, oh, he's dying in this episode. I
didn't think he was going to die this episode, but yeah, he died this episode.
Yeah, and I love that it's at the hands of Arya Stark. It was so perfect. That means she's made her way out there.
Yeah.
No, nor should anybody like the Freys. They were awful.
Yeah. I mean, Jaime had a good point about how pretty much useless they are.
Yes, so we gave it to you so you could hold it for us, and we have to keep running out here to take it back when you lose it. Why do we need you?
Exactly.
And that was the first time you ever saw like Lord Frey look worried.
Yeah.
No, I loved it. It was great.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what I think might be one of your favorite scenes, because you've been dying to see.
I know what you're talking about.
What's happened in the tower. Kaori, I want to hear what you thought of that.
I mean, everyone's saying like surprise, surprise, but it's not a surprise. It's just the fans' rumors being confirmed, and that's amazing and so cool, because now we know that Jon Snow is he's half Stark and probably half Targaryen. So he is basically the next in line to be the king. And even though he shouldn't be king of the North now. So that's going to be a twist. I think it's really exciting.
Yes.
I wish we could have seen more of that scene though, but it's fine. What do you guys think? Because that was big for me.
Yeah, finding out, like, this is how important it was to Ned. Ned led the rest of his life letting his wife believe he had cheated on her and had a child with somebody else. That's how important this was. Look, clearly he's Targaryen. The question is, was he the Mad King's son or was he the Mad King's son's son? I don't know how the ages work out there perfectly, but for whatever reason. So he's either Dany's nephew or he's Dany's brother. And if he is her brother, that raises some very interesting possibilities of, so who does actually have a claim to the Iron Throne? That would be fascinating. They didn't go into it very much. The scene, the reveal was and I love the way they edited the scene. Ned holding the baby opening his eyes, and then cutting to Jon Snow's eyes, leading into my favorite scene of the show, which was to the King of the North, the King of the North. I mean, that, bam, was great.
I'm pretty sure it's going to be Rhaegar's son, though.
I think so, too.
Yeah.
I also think so. And there's a lot of, fandom that's writing about this because everyone's going crazy about the confirmation of the theory. And there's just
only half of the theory's been confirmed. Only half.
I know, but everyone wants to just go into the fact that it's got to be, how do you say it, Rhaegar is his father.
I'm not positive. It's totally would fit. It would totally fit, and I'm not saying that's not the case. I'm just not sold on that.
Either way, he is the Song of Fire and Ice because he essentially is born of North where there's ice, and then of the Starks. And then born of a Targaryen who obviously are fire and blood. So for everybody, that's Jon Snow truly might be the only person who can defeat the supernatural on this show.
Well, it was funny last night too, because we're watching. Look, if you watched the first season, you would be led to believe that Game of Thrones was about Ned Stark.
That's true.
And then subsequently after that, you probably would be forgiven to think that Game of Thrones was about Daenerys Targaryen, which that's felt like that for a while. That like all these other stories are going on, but it kind of feels like it all revolves around her. Last night, it changed for me. Last night for me, it felt like no, Game of Thrones. I mean, really, Game of Thrones is not about any one person, truly. But I couldn't help but get away from the feeling that after last night, when you look at from season 1, episode 1 to where we left off last night, and where it looks like we're going now. Feels to me like Game of Thrones is about Jon Snow. So it's kind of, we'll see how this evolves.
What did you guys think about Jon's response to finding out that the Red Woman killed Shireen?
It was a balanced, reasonable response.
Yeah, it's very Jon Snow response.
Like, loved it.
He couldn't just say to her, "You're right, we do need you, stay." But he couldn't just say to Davos, "You're right, take her out and execute her." Because like, wait a minute, Davos, you knew she did that before you brought her in to resurrect me. So why y'all pissed off now? And he did the wise leader thing. Get on a horse, ride south. You can't come back. And we haven't seen the last of her. No way have we seen the last of her.
Because we haven't even seen the other Red Woman.
Yeah, where'd she go?
Who made an appearance in
She's still a Marine.
Yeah, so there's a few of them lurking. I'm sure as the supernatural gets heavier in the next season, we're going to see all these red ladies come out to party.
It's not a party till the red ladies show up, ladies and gentlemen.
Just don't take off the necklace.
Speaking of red ladies, let's talk about Sansa.
Let's talk about her.
There were some moments with her in this episode.
I'm sensing, to use WWE vernacular, I'm sensing a heel turn.
Yeah.
I'm sensing a heel turn coming with Sansa.
And
actually.
That's so sad.
Yeah, I don't want her to.
I don't want her to, but yeah, especially the way she was looking at Baelish, and he was the only one that wasn't clapping or yelling "King of the North." It was kind of scary,
especially knowing his intentions now that he's revealed them to her. In that moment where he tried to make out with her, knowing what he wants, and he wants her to be by his side. It's like, I don't know.
Let's say this for Baelish. He has never been anything, for right or wrong, he has never been anything but 100% honest with Sansa.
Yeah.
He has always told her the truth. And that, I think she's the only person he's ever truly bared his soul to. With everybody else, it's games. He plays the game. But
he's still creepy.
He's a little creepy, but I mean, he was there he came through for her. And he's being honest with her now. I want the Iron Throne. I want you by my side. who cares about your brother? Blah, blah. It's like, he's being honest with her. So it'll be interesting to see if she buys into his manipulation.
Did you think that he was gonna get the kiss when he was going in for it at any point?
No,
No.
never thought for a second.
No.
I thought
Never thought for a second that she was there yet.
Okay.
The only thing I find creepy about that relationship was the fact that he spent half his life macking on her mom.
Yeah.
That's the part.
And now she's
for sure.
like the age difference. That's not a big deal, but he's macking on her mom for half his life, and now he's macking on her.
Mhm.
So, but hey, this is a show where two of the lead characters are brother and sister, and they are produced half of the other villain characters in the show. So, I mean, there you go. Who am I to judge?
That's true. Anything could happen on Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Incest, sex with dogs. I don't know.
Oh God.
I'm pretty sure that hasn't happened.
No, it hasn't happened
Pretty
yet.
sure Ramsay did that.
Oh,
He got
anything
fucked
else?
by dogs. But that's,
Anything else, guys? That we-
I will say, and I'm sorry, you guys, because I know there's a lot of. Is his name Sam?
Sam. Oh yes,
Oh, yeah.
Sam.
Lovers
Thank
out there.
you. Thank you.
Again, there's so much that happened in this episode that even the special thing that happened with him is almost forgotten because there's just so many more epic moments relative to what happened to him going in and training to be a maester.
but I think him getting there is going to prove incredibly important moving
Yes, I
forward.
agree.
And that moment when he walked into the library,
Oh yeah,
it reminded me of that scene in Beauty and the Beast when Belle walks into the
Aw.
library. You just
He's
felt
Belle.
overwhelmed, like the knowledge
He's
of the
Belle.
world. He's Belle. For the first time, he feels pretty.
Yes.
It felt like the knowledge of the world was there. And in those books are the secrets to beating the Night King.
Of course.
And
yes.
he's going to find them.
Yeah.
And he is going to be Little John to Jon Snow's Robin Hood. Like, I just really feel that that's what's coming. He's going to play an incredibly important
Yeah.
role, which is so great because you've got this show filled with nobles and people with birthrights and maybe some supernatural background. And I think along comes this pudgy little kid
Mhm.
who's going to end up maybe being the hero of the Seven Kingdoms
Mhm.
or play a very, very heroic role. And I think that's pretty awesome. And I think they are not done with him yet.
Oh
No,
no.
I think they're just getting started. We didn't see enough of him except for him getting beaten down by his dad.
His dad.
Yeah.
I want to see his dad get killed so bad.
And his wildling is getting hotter and hotter.
Yeah.
she's
Gilly.
suddenly looking like really pretty.
Yeah,
Not that she didn't look pretty before.
Cleaned
but
up a little bit.
yeah,
that's
she's
all.
cleaned up that. Yeah.
that baby is big. That's a
Baby's getting big.
that baby big.
Big baby.
She can't carry him anymore next season. You
No.
guys don't allow her to be carrying that baby next
They're going to
season.
need Hodor to carry him. Oh, wait.
Oh.
Sorry about that.
Sad.
Too soon. Too soon. Sorry, Hodor fans.
I think that'll always be too soon.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you guys have any predictions for season 7?
Lots of supernatural. I definitely think, with Daenerys making her way north, she's finally going to encounter that. She hasn't yet, like John pointed out. I think that we will finally get a scene with Daenerys and Jon in the same place at the same time.
Yeah.
That interaction in next season, I think we're going to see Cersei just go batshit crazy more than we saw in this
She's already
finale.
cray. She's lost
Right?
it. Yeah. I want to see all the Starks together.
Yeah.
It's well, I mean, there's only.
It's close.
Well, let's put it this way. What's his name?
Brendan.
Brendan's there.
Mhm.
We saw, like, he was there at the tree that Sansa was at. So
Yeah.
he's there. So, and there's nothing left for Arya to do but go home now.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so I think we're about to see the remaining Starks
Mm.
reunited.
It's going to be amazing.
I think that's going to be great, and that's happening.
So who do you think is going to end up taking the be king of the North if Jon has to, kind of step down?
Brennan.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the last surviving true Ned Stark heir.
Mhm.
So he will probably end up being king of the North.
So if that happens, you think Sansa might not turn then, after all?
I think.
It's tough.
Look,
right?
I'm not saying Sansa is going to. I'm just saying if we have to make a prediction, that's my prediction. That
Yeah.
Sansa's going to make a heel turn
Heel
and
turn.
make more of an alignment with Littlefinger.
Right.
Yeah.
What else?
What else is there? Okay, we talked about Dan. I think Cersei's going to die very soon.
Mm.
I think that was it this season or last season? It was last season when we saw the prediction. She went to a witch and they said,
Yes.
"Oh, all your kids are gonna
Yeah.
die.
Yes.
Some very beautiful chick is gonna dethrone you." And I thought that was
Usurp
Marjorie.
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
All this stuff happened, and I think that witch said you were also gonna die. I think.
Well, they're all going to die. I mean, at one point, but
No.
I mean, it's. I think Cersei unexpectedly dies halfway through the season,
I think she will too.
Yeah. and then who becomes the big guy? Then
Oof.
maybe by that point, all the attention goes to the Night King
Yeah.
Yes.
as the true big baddie.
Yeah, because we haven't really seen enough of that.
No, not
it's
at
coming,
all.
though.
It's coming.
It's
on
coming.
This season.
I'm-
Winter is there, so that's his season.
Yeah.
I'm quite curious to see how they're gonna put all of this together,
Mhm.
and if they made such a good season finale for this season, how they're going to make a series finale. It's going to be crazy.
I don't even want to think about series.
Okay.
finale at this point. Yes.
Better be 2 hours though.
Yeah, probably.
All right, guys. Anything left?
No, just like I said, I wasn't thrilled with season 6. I mean, I enjoyed it, but I wasn't thrilled with it. But man, full marks for finishing strong. Like I said, I think the greatest season finale in the history of television. I really do.
Well, I think both the last 2 episodes made the whole season make sense. Why certain parts were slow, and they were both equally strong, but for different reasons.
Yeah.
They go together. It's like part 1 and part 2 needed to be together.
Yeah.
So they did it really well, and now we have to wait.
Yeah.
Sad about
Was it
that.
April? We gotta wait for?
Oh yeah, I guess we gotta try to occupy time.
Yeah, we'll come up with something.
Two chicks, one throne, or another show.
On another show and a mic.
And I'm like,
So in the meantime, you can find out what we are up to until next April. And where can people follow you?
You can follow me at AnCampia and on Snapchat at ACampia.
Yes, and John.
you can follow me on Facebook and on Twitter at Jon Campia, and make sure you follow my new network, Comic Con HQ. Just go to www.comic-con-hq. You can sign up for free until Comic Con and check out all the shows, including mine, Film HQ. Mark Hamill just joined our network. Nathan Fillion and Alan Tudyk are on our network. Make sure you go and check it out.
And how about your podcast?
And you can follow my podcast, The Jon Campia Podcast. Just search for it on any podcast app. You'll find it, The Jon Campia Podcast. Newest episode just went up today.
Good show, the podcast. And you can follow me at KAORIOUS everywhere. And also Ann and I, and sometimes our boy right here at Team Amazing, because
Wakame.
he's honorary Team Amazing.
Sometimes welcome in.
And sometimes Wakame. All right, thanks guys for tuning in. See you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.